Hello guys. The fact that you have reached this far in the 4 video series is evident that you are a pro. You do have already gained some experience in investments, perhaps burnt your fingers, but surely not made serious money yet. Believe you me, you are no different, and all stock investors who made serious money do have instances of losses or write-offs. You would have identified your shareholding type so far and probably understood the pros and cons of being present in the other investable instruments, bank deposits. Well, fortunately in India, it does give some kind of returns annually, whereas in other richer counterparts, the banks charge you for keeping money. Fixed deposits, an instrument that just gives you a tad bit over the rate of inflation, but so far it is secured investment instrument. Mutual fund. Well, I experienced 100% return in 1 year through one mutual fund, but then in others, I wound up incurring losses even after 4 years. And the problem is, which one out of 11,856 funds as against around 6,000 odd listed stocks? Also, the mutual funds have to invest in the same instruments that you can directly invest in. And lastly, they will first make money and only then distribute the profits to you through a declared NAV. I hope you may not have experienced derivatives, currencies or commodities, and if so, probably you have already gone a little too far. For now, let's plan making money at the right earnest. It is rather a pity that in 138 billion people, there are merely 3.23 crore registered investors. And if we account for duplication or take out those who have just registered but not active, the number would probably fall to merely 2.5 crore, which is just 1.8% of the population. So, what is the scope of Indian markets? Take a look. And to explain why people do not have faith, this one came handy. One must go through these common mistakes new investors make very carefully. However, my message to all the youngsters is to open a Demat account the day they get into an active employment and start with the 3 factors: researching, chart studies and shareholding. And once you have started on with stock investment, your idea should be to make it remunerative enough over the next 5 to 7 years so as to have a parallel income, which will make your job or whatever you may plan to do more and more interesting and enjoyable. Well, all these are easier said than done, but this page that I have been posting in all the previous 6 to 7 videos explains it all. Even after all the steps taken, you have to provision for your chosen stock to fall well below your price. Conversely speaking, do also factor for the stock to rise to dizzy heights after you have exited. But do not deter. You will get to the hang of it. Once you have a handle on choosing your own, should we call it winners, you will not regret either the fall or the rise. And instead of seeking tips or advice, you will be the one giving these. So, the idea is to have your own investment strategy that you have to define yourself. No two money needs can be alike, so no two investment strategies can be alike as well. It is also critical, and I advise to stick to small spectrum of shares. All the shares do move 100% if not more in a year. If your share portfolio is 5 to 6 in numbers, there will be immense opportunities through the year to switch out partially from one share into another and vice versa. This is very important to continue to increase your portfolio in depth and in width as you go along, as you will slowly be able to know the finer nuances of the companies you are invested in. Mind it, we cannot start and be in many businesses, but through shareholding, we can own a pie in several businesses. For example, I do say that I own so and so share, but I also proudly say that I am in steel, IT, digital marketing, banking softwares, telecom, power, banking, and textile industries. Last but not the least, define a discipline for yourself and do not compromise on your investment discipline, whatever the provocation. I see some shocking tips coming around every day, and more shocking are the prices people offer to these shares. Keep deploying excess money generated into more longer term instruments which may be lesser remunerative, as stock markets also have tendency to go out of fashion every now and then like other cyclical businesses. This part I am introducing as an afterthought. Never ever compromise with your own formed investment principles or be prepared to pay a price. The best example happened in week 48 commencing 25th November 2020. I had made one of the investing principles for myself that I will not sell any positions in a loss. However, I just made a decision that I will get lighter when Nifty would reach 13,250, and it did. So I did these deals, two of which were covered in long-term calls in my pinned tweet. Within next 10 days, my eyes popped out, as what my left positions costed me was probably 20% of the total current portfolio, certainly much more than what I was making in a year as salaries, excluding perks in my heydays of employment. Net result, I actually laughed out loud and made yet another principle. Even when you make a decision, do not compromise your principles and never exit your long-term positions completely. Did I not tell you, yours is only your journey, and each win and loss will teach you a new lesson. For entertainment purposes, besides the inspirational stock market quotes, keep mulling over the quotes of the critics every now and then. Perhaps try making your own rules or quotes with each win or loss. For example, the latest I have made is this. At the end, this all boils down to 15th century wisdom given by great poet Sant Kabir. Enjoy your investing and thanks for watching. We'll be back with you as and when I find something more interesting. This is the culmination of the series Before Taking a Plunge from my side, and we'll be happy to hear your comments on each one of these in the playlist.